What is pranayama?
Pranayama is, if you want to see it as the actuality, it is the foundation of yoga. So, when a person intends to go beyond the physical feeling and has to understand that he is more powerful than the mind is, he has to practice pranayama. This is a quest of knowing the mind more and developing control over it. So in the initial aspects, we call pranayama is a concept where we try to increase the amount of prana in the body and make the person feel very healthy, strong in the mind and all these. And over a period of time, the practitioner will start to realize that I am more strong in the mind when he is considering to practice pranayama regularly. So according to me, pranayama is a concept where you control the mind.
Why do you think it is relevant to learn pranayama for a normal person?
For a normal person, you can see, basically when we try to breathe consciously, the rhythm and pattern of our breath keeps changing. And if we think about a normal average person's breathing, so let us say he may take breaths 20 times, 18 times a minute. Or if he is naturally an anxious person or a stressed person, the number of breaths which he would take without his knowledge or awareness will usually be more. So here on a rough calculation for an hour, if he is breathing like 20 times a minute, it will be like 16 to 20 times. So which would be 1200 times breaths. Whereas a practitioner who is consciously trying to put an effort to extend his breath breathes slowly. So as you have also experienced in practicing pranayama, you can note that maybe we breathe about maximum 100 to 150 breaths when we are trying to extend our breath and trying to control it. So this naturally generates the capacity of the physiology to become strong. So just to compare in between, like how a rabbit breathes when compared to how a crocodile breathes. So a rabbit breathes like 100 times a minute. A crocodile breathes, according to the observation, twice in 5 minutes. So this makes a huge difference in how their physiology responds. So our internal glandular system, they have a particular way of behaving. So the more adequate the oxygen supply is at once, the glands use it and start to develop their own rhythm of harmonic production. Whereas if it is not adequate or if it is very fast, then the glands will have to work as many number of times. So when we think about a life, the concept of, let us say, numerical life, number of years, they are also not just related to number of days we are living. They are also related to how many times our glands function, how many times our body is accepting these hormones, and how many times they are responding to these hormones. So all these together decide what is the numerical span of this person. So when we practice pranayama with consciousness, trying to extend these breathing forces, we are also slowly gaining control over our glandular response to various situations around us, like stress, anxiety, whatever, depression, anything around us. So in this way, a normal person will get more healthy and will be capable of keeping his biological factors, physiological factors, and his immune system very strong with practice of pranayama.
Pranayama in relationship to health and spirituality. You kind of touch on it.
So when we speak about, as I said, pranayama is the same. Do you want to become a spiritual aspirant with pranayama, or do you want to develop only physical health with pranayama? Is up to the way in which you think about it. So like let us say the water flows. One uses it for washing his clothes, one uses it for irrigation, one uses it for industrial purposes, like this. So based on how you are looking at this energy this becomes channelized in those particular areas of the body. So if I aspire to become a spiritual participant in this nature, then my aim in pranayama is more about detachment. So that feeling with which when we breathe, naturally those spiritual energy arises inside you and it will show you the way towards spirituality. Then if I am thinking about my physical health, I am attached to my body, and hence our physical system will start to get more strong. Even though when I get physically more immune and capable and healthy, there might be a potential for me to turn into spirituality at any point of time when my thought process changes. But right from the beginning, if the practitioner starts to work upon this concept, the whole idea is different. His journey, the path, the way in which he looks into the world or the way in which the world looks into him will start to change over time.
Can you suggest an exercise if you should give one simple practice to general public?
Pranayama is a concept where you can use many different techniques for different purposes. But one among the very core foundations which you can find in any pranayama practice is the alternating nostril breathing and Kapalabhati pranayama, where Kapalabhati we suggest usually for a practitioner who has developed a little more control over his nadis and nervous system by practicing pranayama regularly. But Nadi Shodhana can be done by any person. So basically you need not have to learn the whole aspect of what is kumbhaka, what is bandha and everything. Just practice dividing your breath into a few parts, let us say 2 parts or 3 parts, and alternate them while breathing, like taking in from the left, breathing out from the right, taking in from the right, breathing out from the left, a few times for a day or for once. Because it is said pranayama, if a practitioner is trying to work on spiritual aspects, it is observed that pranayama is practiced 4 times a day: morning, afternoon, evening and midnight. So the less spiritual focus only for health, generally I want to remain healthy, keep my nadis fit and keep my circulation in a very strong notion. I don't want any problems related to my bronchial system or even my nervous system. Just the alternating breathing practice should be very helpful. So initially starting with 2 parts of inhale, 2 parts of exhale, and over a period of time you can raise it up to 4 parts of inhale, 4 parts of exhale, and it should be helpful.
Is it important to pace the breath, to breathe with a rhythm?
Yes, it becomes very important to breathe with the rhythm, because that rhythmic approach to breathing itself becomes a part of yoga. So when we speak about yoga, chitta vritti nirodha, this concept of maintaining rhythm in the breath only helps our mind to remain attending to the breath. So when a person starts to breathe according to the feeling, according to his intention or according to his capability, then most of the time we may not be able to attend to the mind, because only when we give mind some work, then only it will start to listen to us. So there, the saint Swami Vivekananda used to say, treat your mind like a dog, but the chain should be in your hand. Whenever you want, it should come back to you, like that. So if I want to gain that capacity, the mind should be given so much of tasks all together at once, which it is of course capable of handling. So this rhythmic breathing maybe initially seems to be that the body, it is benefiting to the body, but most of the time we should realize that the body cannot do anything. So the body cannot wear a particular colored cloth on its own, it cannot choose a color. The body cannot choose that it has to eat food at this time, it cannot choose the type of food. Everything is done by the mind for the body. So when we speak about breathing in the rhythm, it is also for the mind through the body. So I am trying to speak to you in the terms of yogic awareness. So most of the time we believe our body is gaining power, our body is gaining potential, I am getting stronger. But most of the time you would have not realized that it is only the mind which is working right from the beginning. Let it be yogasana, pranayama or even meditation. It is only the mind's task. So when we start trying to bring the body or the breath into a particular rhythm, It means that we are channelizing the mind to remain in the same rhythm and we are bringing discipline into it. So with this acquired discipline, a person should be able to explore himself in a better way, because when the mind stops speaking, there is much more to see inside. So as long as we are hearing or seeing the various arts of the mind, we will not be able to dive deep inside the system of what is considered to be a human being, which is of course very deep, one should see.
Something that's like a message or something like that?
See, basically, when we speak about practitioners, those who are into yoga, they naturally know that they have a body and their body has particular capacities, particular weaknesses, and they also would have realized with regular practice of asanas that their mind is stronger than the body. And if, likewise, if a person is practicing pranayama over time, he would have realized that he is stronger than his mind. So my message would be to start looking deep into the self or into yourself, where there is a lot more of information present than even roaming around the world or universe. So spending at least 20 minutes time for yourself, even though you are not doing yoga asanas, even if not pranayama, just trying to sit with yourself for at least 20 minutes a day with mauna, of course, being alone, it should be very helpful. Then naturally their path will unfold towards what they really need.
And what would be that they really, it would be like, why should a person want to observe himself or herself?
Because most of the time we are missing out the real information of what is the purpose of mind. Why am I here? What should I know? Many of us would not know what is happening around me. And we always try to stick towards the stimulations, like what should I do today? Maybe I have an appointment, so I am fixed for that appointment. What should I do today? Maybe a friend of mine called me, so I am fixed to that particular work. But we have seldom listened to what is my innate purpose. So every person will have a purpose, every person will have a potential to explore it. Rather than being a respondent to any stimulus, he should spend at least some time within himself or for himself, so that they understand it as well as the main part of life.
Thank you very much.